Good morning from day 3 on the Centennial Trail. It was fairly warm last night. It's actually fairly warm this morning. Hope that's not a indicator of what today's going to be like. It's supposed to be a little cooler, I think. At least that's what Scott's weather report said. Today's Mount Rushmore Day. We have about 2 miles to the turnoff to Mount Rushmore. Then I think it's 0.8 up, so we'll head up there. It's almost 6 o'clock, so we'll get there pretty early. Scott checked last night. It opens at 5 a.m. and the visitor center opens at something like 8. So hopefully the food will be open then in case we decide to get some food up there. So we'll hang out there for a couple hour or two maybe, and then head back down. And from what I remember from last time, we have a pretty big hike up from there. Our big concern today is water. We were told last night by some hikers that we met that the Dalton Lake campground, their water has been shut off because it hadn't been tested. There's always the lake there, but they also said there's a couple streams. But from there, it's another like 8 miles or something, 8 to 10 miles to get to additional water. So we'll see what we're going to do today. Scott really wants to push an 18-mile day. I'm not sure if I'm going to be up for that, but we might have to due to water. So, all right, we'll finish up a few last camp chores here, and then we'll get going. I'll talk to y'all in just a little bit. One last look at our campsite, and we are off. A decent amount of this section of trail so far has been kind of trenched out. You're walking in a bit of a ditch. At this point it's knee high, thigh high. I know it's probably not showing up, but right there, definitely not showing up, is the Mount Rushmore. Is Mount Rushmore. First view of it. We did come to a nice flowing stream down here, plenty of water to filter. We made it to the turnout to Mount Rushmore. It's about a 0.8 mile hike up. From what I remember, it's not too bad. Trails through the national parks, and in this case the National Memorial, are always really nice. Nice and smooth, nice and wide, nice gentle up. Made it up to the top. Like I said, it's definitely uphill, but since it's Park Service, it's never too steep. So it's not anything to worry about if you're doing the CT and want to come up here. It's not too bad, and I think as soon as I crest this, I should be able to see the parking lots. Or fence at where the parking lot used to be. Here's our first real good view of the monument there. Can't see all of them clearly. You can see George and Abe there, and Teddy's tucked back, and Jefferson right beside Washington there. I always enjoy this. This is the Avenue of Flags. It's got flags from all 50 states. Of course, we had to stop at the concessionaires here. The only bad thing is the ice cream doesn't open till 11, so it looks like it's just breakfast. Need to run over to the gift shop too. I need to get a new bandana, like I said, and just look around. Why not? we're gonna be here for a little bit, charging electronics. Anyways, all right, we're still hanging out here at the cafeteria area. Went over to the gift store, tried to find a bandana. They only had one. It was like $26 for a bandana, and I don't need one that badly. I just use my buff. We're almost done charging, so we'll probably take off here about a half hour or so and see how far we make today. My legs are tired today. I'm gonna rest, keep them up here, and see if that helps them. But they're feeling pretty tired. I'm feeling pretty tired today, so we'll see how far. All right, we are leaving Mount Rushmore. We spent just about 2 hours there, fueling up, battering up, looking around. So now we have another at 0.8 back down to the trail. And then what I remember shortly after that, we kind of take a left and start climbing for a while. So we'll see how that feels. Probably slow. Much easier going this way than coming up. With this creek crossing here, we are back on the Centennial Trail. We're done with our little 2 bonus miles for today. Nice little campsite right here at the base of it. Probably fit 1, maybe 2 tents in there. And now we're back into Black Elk Wilderness area. And onto the CT. And so the climb begins. This is a big one. Probably the biggest one I think we've done so far. Just going to take my time. Not going to rush up it. I believe this area right in front of me up there is where Kate and I stayed on our first trip here. Still working our way up. It's up, but it's actually a pretty good angle. It's not too steep at any one time. Nice to see. All right, I think we got through the majority of the climb. Scott says there's a few more ups coming up, but at least we're getting a little downhill right now, so get a little break in the legs. Just came upon a nice little flowing stream here, enough to definitely get water out of. I think this is right before the turnoff to Horse Thief Lake. I think is what the sign's going to say right here up there. Yeah, so we can go to right. They'll take us Horse Thief Lake. We're going around it up this way. Feels pretty nice today when the clouds are over the sun. When there is no clouds, it's pretty warm out. Pretty intense. There's a nice breeze that hits us occasionally. All right, looks like we just left the Black Elk Wilderness. They're not down still. Just came up from that direction. Sign there for Black Elk Wilderness. Trail goes this way, and then towards Big Pine Trailhead goes this way, which is where we're supposed to go. And I just realized during the whole Black Elk Wilderness there are no 89 signs. It must be due to the wilderness aspect of it. There were a few signs here and there, kind of like brown wood signs as you saw there, but nothing on the trees during that section. And I don't see any here right yet, but I'm sure we'll pick up soon. And a short way after that intersection there is our first 89 side in a while. Just made it to the Big Pine Trailhead and road crossing here. think we're gonna find some place to take a nice little break here. All right, we found some nice shady spot here right by the parking lot. We're going to take a good long break and relax for a little bit, make some plans going forward from here. We used to have water in, I don't know, 3 miles, 4 miles, something like that. Probably have to get at least there. All right, we just had a nice break there at Big Pine Trailhead area. I remember when I did this last time, I think right over here behind me is where CQ and I stopped as well to have a nice break. We have about a half mile to get to our next water supply, and this is it for 9.5 miles. So I think we're going to dry camp. I know we're going to dry camp in there because I don't know if I have another 10 miles in me for today. Who knows? But we're going to go to probably past Somalia's campground, or trailhead, excuse me, and push on past that. We'll find out. Someplace to stay. Pretty nice trail that we're starting off on here. It looked like it used to be an old road. Hopefully we'll stay in shade. It's been nice when we've been in the shade. It hasn't been too hot. Right, the water source after the railroad crossing is pretty slim. I think if we went up here a little bit, you can get enough, but not really moving at this point in time. All right, we just filled up at the railroad crossing there. I got, I think, 6 liters on me, which I don't need for 9.5 miles, except we're going to camp. Obviously dry camp somewhere in the middle here. So hopefully that should be plenty. Lucky it was light water and my pack is not all that heavier. I told Scott as we left that last water source, I thought I remember there was a creek up here that I complained about last time not being on the map. There is a creek, there is water. It's pretty slimy at this point. I saw a couple places that weren't too bad, but it's not too reliable. I'd get it at the railroad crossing still, I think. We had a pretty steady climb out of that last meadow there. I think we're almost to the top of it. Soon we will turn right, drop down, and take the tunnel underneath the highway. So we had just a little road walk here, a couple hundred yards if that, and we're gonna turn off, and you can see right here the highway right up there, and we'll go under an underpass. Time to enter the dark, spooky tunnel. I know in the notes from online it said sometimes there's standing water in here, but honestly, being underneath a overpass, I'm pretty sure I would not drink it. I have very low standards for water, but when anything can be pulling salts and oils and gas off the highway, I think I'm gonna set that as my standard there. So out into the light again. Starting to climb out of the smallest trailhead. 1.3 miles up here is where Kate and I camped on day 4 when we did it. So we're gonna head for that and then reevaluate once we get there, see how we feel. This is a pretty good climb though, so we may be dead by then. turned out to be a little farther to our campsite than I thought. For some reason when I looked up on Gaia it said 1.3, but apparently it was a little bit longer. So we just cut down the trail here, and I'm pretty sure this area we camped in the last time. Looks like it, or at least it looks like there's some flat ground we should be able to pull something out of for tonight. Working on getting camp set up here. We're just under 2 miles or so, 1.5 miles, something like that, from the Salmias trailhead. This is the same spot that Kate and I camped in 3 years ago on our first trip here. It's got some definitely more damage since then. They got the trees cut down. Looks like not only wind blown but logging, but I think we're in a pretty good place. No widowmakers around us. We're fairly open. The breeze is blowing, so we may get a storm coming in. It's not looking too dark in the sky right now, but it just feels like it with the wind. Maybe we'll get lucky and not get any rain tonight. That would be great. Oh, almost set up. I'm gonna get a quick dinner. I think I'm gonna go to bed early tonight. I'm pretty tired. I'm not exactly sure how far we went. I'll have to calculate that and figure that out and let you know in just a little bit. Until then, we'll talk to you later. Got a little dinner going there. That's my fire maple new pot. It's got a heat conductor, and it's the second trip I've used it on, and I'm always impressed by how quickly it's boiling water. So far pretty good. A little heavier than just the Tokes, but might be worth it. Tonight is peak refuels. They're sweet and sour pork and rice, or pork and rice, something like that. So hope it's good. I'm getting hungry. That peak refuel was really good. Probably one of the best dehydrated meals I've ever had. And for dessert, I know it's not going to look good. It is an Entenmann's Brookie brownie and chocolate chip cookie. Had one of these last night. Really good. It's totally smashed, but still totally good.